Some recognitions and presentations coming up.
Yes.
Science Olympia, is that our first?
Yes. I'd like to introduce Jen Gianella, principal of Hamburg Middle School, to take us on the Science Olympiad recognition. Jen.
Hi, everybody. We're here to first recognize our Science Olympiad. They were very successful this year in competition, and Tom Reedy is going to talk to us for a little bit about the regional competition. And we'd like to welcome him, and then we're going to recognize all of the students. Briefly, when he's done, they're going to come up and tell us what events they competed in and won their medals in. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom at this time. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, board, thank you for hearing me tonight. My name is Tom Reedy. I am the coordinator for the New York State Science Olympiad in the Lake Erie, Niagara region for the middle school division. We had our competition about a week ago, Saturday, and as your principal just said, I'm here to recognize your team, your students, Hamburg, in their first place finish, and congratulate them on a tremendous job. For those who've never seen or heard about Science Olympiad, you may have heard about it. I have the competition videotaped every year. What I've done is taken the videotape that was a little over an hour long and stripped it down and concentrated the best I could on just the Hamburg team. I've given you copies there, and I believe there's one going right now. It's trying to give you an idea of just what's going on during the competition. The standard competition is 25 events that range, cover the 5 areas of science. Those areas are the life and personal science, earth science, physical science, technology, engineering, and inquiry in nature science. You will see some of your students here on this video and their performance. This year they had a tremendous performance as far as the medals they earned. What I also wanted to stress is that this is not a fluke for the Hamburg School District. My records go back as far as 2006. Unfortunately, it's always go back. But and I've included this in the packet that I've given you. When you get a chance to look at it. But if you go from this year, they finished first place in 2012. 2011, they finished second place. 2010, another second place. 2009, first place. 2008, second place, and so on. This team, under the direction of Ms. States and Nick Zahn, is a dominant force in the region here. One of my responsibilities as regional coordinator is to invite the 2 strongest teams to represent our region at the state competition that's going to be held this year in mid-April in sunny Ulster. And I am asking for your support for the Hamburg team so that they can go on and compete at the state level. At the state level, the 2 best teams there will get invited to compete to represent New York State at the national level. We're all striving to do that, of course. Some of the events that your young men and women competed in this year consisted of the anatomies. Right there is a food science event. They really cross the whole breadth of science and technology. These students are competing head-to-head against all the other students, all the other teams, and also as a team. So you'll see some of your students with individual medals that some of them are wearing right now. And in addition to that, the Hamburg team was awarded first place for our region, so they had a trophy to represent that also. These exams and these competitions are not easy. I know on some of the ones that I have written, I use the AP physics books for my material, and I ask your middle school kids to compete at that level. They are challenged to do work far outside of what they're asked to do in the classroom, and they can't expect to get them all right because they are made hard. I know that they've done that. Most of the students that will compete here have competed in at least 3 events. Sometimes when you see these kids come out of the event, their heads are spinning. They really are challenged at a very, very high level. very difficult though, and they succeed, and they do very, very well. I don't want to lose Hamburg team as a representative of the state of Western New York. I ask for your support for that, your continuing support in the next couple of years, on and on. I think that Mrs. Bates and Mr. Zone have done a tremendous job of organizing, guiding, and bringing these young men and women together. I am not an educator by trade. I'm an engineer at Lockheed Martin. I can tell you personally how important it is to have new people, young people, enthused and interested in the area of science and engineering. I think at this point in their careers or their life, getting them exposed to something like this is very, very important. My personal opinion. I ask for your support, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Students, can you come up over here so we can tell everybody just your names and what you medaled in? Come on up. We love hearing all our medals, so thank you.
Yeah, we had to move on because we feel, we're so proud of them and any chance. Thank you, we're very proud of them.
I just wanted to say, I talked to two of the students, Katie Boston and Joe Wanda. They came to my office and gave me a little bit of information behind the scenes, and I asked them a couple of questions about, what makes your team so successful, and a little bit about the competition. And they told me the team did really well all around, as you can see with their medals. Not everybody brought theirs because they were really heavy for some of them. They have so many. Every single person got at least one medal this year. Most got 2, 3, or 4 medals. I asked them what was the key to success. So when I asked what is the key to your success, they said we study a lot, we prepare, and the competition parallels what they do in school. It's just a lot harder. And they talked about the teachers being available and so friendly about helping them whenever they need it, and the support of the parents who are highly involved with Science Olympiad. And they said it is a lot of fun. They really enjoy what they do. And next they're off to the state competition, so they're going to continue to study. It becomes much more involved, as you heard, and the tests get much harder. And they spoke a little bit about Mission Possible because they got second with Navy in one of the areas, and now they have to raise the bar and get up to first. So they are going to even do better at the state. So they're lucky. So we're very proud of them, and I just wanted each of them to tell you their name loud and clear and what areas they got medals in.
I'm Aaron Chicky. I medaled in first place for forestry, second place for micro mission, second place from last year for micro mission, and second place for can judge and powder. And I got a state's medal for can judge and powder as well.
Third place in optics this year.
I'm Alex Battershow, and I got first in towers and first in keep keep.
Kevin Gonzer, and I have a second place medal from states last year, a fifth place medal from Storm the Castle this year, I was in sumo pots, Storm the Castle, trajectory, and helicopter.
compute this and keep the heat. I got first place in meteorology and keep the heat, and third place in compute this.
Hi, I'm a sensor. I got fourth place in Time Busters this year, and last year, Ready to Do It first.
I'm Jordan Morris, and this year I competed in Storm the Castle, Anatomy, and Right to Do It. I got second place in Anatomy, fifth place in Storm the Castle, and we were not graded on Right to Do It. And last year I got first in Anatomy, second in Awesome Aquifers, and third in Storm the Castle.
Hello, I'm Joseph Flandis, and this is my first year on Science Olympiad. And I had the incredible honor of medaling second place in all of my events: Mission Possible, Microbe Mission, Anatomy, and Disease Detectives.
I'm Katie Lawson. I came second in Mission Possible, Disease Detectives, and I came in third place for Awesome Aquifers.
I am Lynn Quinlan. I got first in Towers and first in Forestry. Last year I got first in Towers. I got fourth in Battery Buggy and third in Maglev. And then 2 years ago I got second in Battery Buggy and second in Bridges. I'm Matthew Awardscape. I came in first in Dynamic Planet, Meteorology, and Reach the Stars. I'm Matt Evan. I got first in Dynamic Planet, third in Awesome Aquifers, and third in Boy to Boy.
Guys, before you take a seat, we just want to let you know that this really would not be possible with all the help of the parents also. Mr. Zone and myself, although this year we were in a sanctioned club, we felt that we need to still at least do it this year. We have parents, been with us for many years. Noah Quinlan is one of our former Science Olympiads. Right over here, so it's very hard to just stop something when every year you progress a little bit more, and then you have, brothers and sisters. Emma Sensor, also her sister, was involved with this. So to not continue on when parents have been so involved over so many years, it's hard to say, nope, not going to do it anymore. My husband's sitting over there, and I've missed more volleyball tournaments and things, and all-county concerts for my daughter, but we're here for these kids also because this is such a tremendous experience. Guys, you have no idea. We send them in to these exams. We give them a sheet, what to study. There's a little manual that says what you're expected to study. We have no idea what these tests are even going to be involved. And just last week, I had the opportunity to look at some of these tests with Mr. Reedy to help our kids prepare a little bit better for state. I couldn't believe, I'm almost like crying because I'm so proud of these kids. These tests are hard. I just couldn't even believe it. So guys, not that I wasn't proud of them before, but I'm really proud of you now after looking at some of the tests. And Mr. Quinlan, I don't know if I told him he's got to speak now or forever holds his peace. He's worked so hard with his sons and daughter on this tower. You just have to see how amazing, some of these things are.
May we grab your towels for a minute?
I know she's dying here, but you gotta see this. This is amazing. Mr. Quinlan is a former Science Olympiad participant. I'm not sure what school he graduated from.
That's 86 right here. I was very hard on both of my kids, all through building events, through all the thing. I made the do forestry, if you didn't want to do this year. Came out with first. My son did reptiles that year. He didn't want to. We came out with the first. That's a 14 grand tower. 13. What's this year's? 15. A tower that weighs as much as a couple clothespins, holds 15 kilograms, which is 33 pounds. It's efficiencies of 1,000. It's really incredible. It's one event that you can kind of see what they go through, what kind of, most of them are closed. They keep the parents away from the closed events. There's a few building events which the parents can watch and kind of get to enjoy the day. And I'd like to thank Mr. Zona, Mrs. Dates. I don't know if Ken Tangelder is here, but he's been involved for 5 of the 6 years that I've been involved.
Okay, thank you for your time, and we just want to make, we're proud of Hamburg, and I think most people know going into this competition that Hamburg's a pretty tough school to compete against. St. Greg is our, I don't know what you call them, our nemesis or whatever, but we try to beat them. They're our goal to beat they're also.
As is ours.
Well, so thank you very much for your time.
Our next presentation is going to be on our energy education. I believe Casey Nawadman is here someplace. Go right there.
This is a way of introduction. The energy education program was something that the district became involved in late last school year. And it's a program designed to create efficiencies in energy consumption throughout the district. Casey Nawali is our energy education specialist, and this evening she's going to report on our progress from July 1 through December 31. So, Casey, thank you for coming.
First, I'd like to just start and tell you guys a little bit about what I do, because a lot of people probably don't know what an energy education specialist is. I just know in August when I retired. I've heard of it before. So what is it that I do? I do a lot of different things in the district. Most is to try to find us energy savings, save us money so that we can save programs or fund other programs. Things that I have to do along the way is I do data analysis. I take all of our data from our bills, water, electric, or gas, and I calculate how much we've saved by our use. The calculation, as I'll be talking about later, is due to environmental factors, not just what was last year's bill and what this year's bill is. I walk through the buildings at all hours of the day and night, weekends, holidays. I was out on Christmas Day this year. That's where we can capture big energy savings. So according to the Energy Education Company, I have to do 10 to 15 a week. On average, I've averaged about 20 a week since I started. Part of my job is an energy education specialist. So it is part of my job to be an educator. It is to educate the staff, educate the community, and educate anybody that wants to know anything about how to conserve. I have a lot of tips on, there's a website on their building and grounds, and there's an energy calculator for you to use at home, that you can use a similar program to what I have and find out how you can save money on your bills at home. Part of my job is to report what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing here tonight, is to report on our energy program, how it's progressing. And every month I also have to meet with specialists in the field of energy management. The company that we have contracted with sends at least 3 specialists a month. One in helping me become better at auditing buildings, helping me look for what I'm supposed to be looking for to save us money. One that helps me with the data, works with the data, makes sure that I'm entering the data correctly. And then we have a maintenance person that helps me understand the maintenance part of the building. I've never seen a boiler before I started. Now I'm actually pretty good with it, and was teasing Mr. Quinlan before that we need to make some adjustments for the weather to warming up today. So how are we doing? I mean, obviously that's the bottom line. What are we doing? What are we saving money? Because we all know the state of the economy and the state of our budget right now. Well, from July to December when the program started, which I wasn't hired until August, we have saved $39,182 in accordance to the weather. Okay, we've actually saved a higher number than that. What does that mean? Well, it means that we've used less BTUs. We've removed 48 cars from the road. We've planted basically equivalent to 6,842 trees. And I mean, that's great for our environment, it's great for our kids. And obviously the money is fantastic too. We've avoided creating 267 metric tons of carbon dioxide. So, I mean, beyond just saving us money, we are helping our environment. So how it looks out is I run these monthly reports, like I said, here's our amount that we saved, 39,000, and each of our buildings is progressing. The program's initiative is to get over 15 to 20% savings per building. In our first year, most buildings just came back from a conference, most school districts are around 13% at the same stage we're at, and we are at 15.5%. So we're off to a really good start, and you know, the money we all wish would be higher, it will come as we're moving along, and each time I see bills come, our first one we had saved like $3,000. We're getting up to about $11,000 a month right now that we're saving, and we still have a long way to go. We're still in the early stages of the program. Different buildings save different amounts. I'm just going to give a shout out to Mrs. Gianlola because middle school is in first place. 7%, the middle school is maintaining 22% savings, and sometimes it's been as high as 30% in a month. We have some easier systems here, so it makes it a little bit easier for us. But you can see some buildings are in the 9 and 10%. That doesn't mean that they haven't bought into the program. That doesn't mean that they're bad. It means that they were doing some great stuff beforehand. I pick on the guys at Charlotte all the time because they go in there and I get excited if I find a monitor on because they have everything turned off, their lights are off, and their custodian staff there at night has always been going around and turning stuff off. So their savings is a little bit slower coming up to some of the other buildings. They had a dance on Friday and they even had half of their lights off. So, I mean, I was pretty impressed. We can see that we are coming down with our trend. The blue line on my graph here represents last year's spending overall on energy district-wide. So at all of our buildings, you can see as we started off, other summer months is not where our biggest savings is. Obviously, our heat is our biggest bill. So the winter months is always going to be our highest expenditure, but we have made significant progress on bringing those values down from last year. And again, that has nothing to do with the fact that we're having a fantastic winter and it's warm. This is based solely on how much energy we should have used on that day for that weather. That's what our program does, and that's what our company guarantees us, so that when we're looking at numbers, we know that we're saving, and not just because, you know, we're saving for the program, not because of what's happening outside. So most of the things I talk about is cost avoidance. What we've avoided in cost is that $40,000 value by the program. Cost avoidance is a calculation on how much energy is needed for the type of weather that happens for that day. And that all happens in this program I have. The program is a third-party company from the company we've contracted with. They're completely separate, so that, you know, that there's not anything that they're trying to help out our savings or anything like that. We are, as I said, not saving because it's a warm winter. Are we saving money because it's a warm winter? Absolutely. Our actual savings from July to December is $65,000. And if you look, and a lot of that is gas. It was almost $24,000 in December, and as you see, an additional $26,000, our January bill is lower than last January bill. But according to the energy company, that $39,000, if I add January's gas savings in, only goes to $43,000 total savings. It doesn't give us that $26,000. So we are saving money, that's keeping money for, Mrs. Sproul saying we have extra money that maybe we budgeted for this year because it is a warmer winter. But we're also making really good progress with the energy program so far. And a lot of that comes from the teachers and staff buying into it. Custodial staff is fantastic about helping me. Kevin Strong is amazing with what he does with turning them on, and the support I get from Mr. Kromovich and the principals. I mean, that was really what we've got to keep going, and we've got to keep it into the future so that we can fund more programs, have some extra money, and keep this savings increasing in all those buildings. Next, we'll hear about the middle school.
Yes, we know there's a tax agenda, so we found this to be brief, but we couldn't resist just highlighting some of the positive programming that's going shared decision-making team in each building, and it's called the core team. And ours has the responsibility of kind of deciding what committees we need to run in the school each year. So we have some new ones and some that have been ongoing. And the ones we're just going to talk about briefly are student recognition, character education, attendance, and health and development. This is John Crandall, our assistant principal, for those of you who don't know him.
Our attendance committee meets monthly, as do all of our other committees, and reports back to the board team. The goal of the attendance committee is to not only increase student attendance, but also increase punctuality. This is part of the plan, and we've implemented strategies that have already made positive changes, such as the decreased rate of tardiness, also recognition of students that may be apt to any kind of change, a way to intervene, be a little more proactive. This includes also a increased partnership with parents, and support that we have at home, support we have amongst our staff, and from our student support team as well.
A lot of it is just connecting with parents and giving a phone call and offering assistance when kids are coming into school late, and reminding people that we want kids to be here a little more often than not time. So it's working out well. Student recognition, positive behavior. If you look over under Bulldog's Care on the wall, there's lots of paw prints with student names on. And the Student Recognition Committee was formed this year in partnership with parents. We've been inviting parents into core team, and it's been really successful. So they're continuing to decorate with the paw prints, and originally they thought they would take them down to do drawings and then put new ones up, but we thought, no, we want to keep building on it. So they do periodic drawings, and then the students' names go up on the wall over there. So it's anyone, faculty, staff, can take a paw print and just recognize a student for any type of good character and behavior. You know, somebody drops their books in the hallway and another student comes over to pick them up, an adult might say, that was really great, can I have your name? They write it on, and it goes into the Bulldog Spirit drawing. And they are also going to help with an end-of-the-year Terrific Kids celebration. We recognize Terrific Kids each month, and the kids come down in the morning, and they get their bumper sticker and their certificate, and we tell them why they're terrific kids. We've been doing it by department, but there's some terrific kids sitting out there. And we wanted to do a little bit more, so they were talking about maybe an end-of-the-year breakfast for all of the terrific kids together, inviting parents in, so we're going to help with that. Character education, these committees kind of blend together a little bit at times, but they have also been just working on what we can do to decrease character ed in the school. Day of service was organized in conjunction with PTSA. Students, parents, and staff assembled arts and crafts for Women and Children's Hospital earlier this year, and they also did Teens for Jeans and collected over 900 pairs of jeans, which was wonderful to donate. And they're also sponsoring the No Hate campaign. We have a district DASA committee, Dignity for All Students, and one of the things that the schools were looking at is how to increase bullying awareness and decrease bullying in our schools. And the kids came up with the No Hate idea, and we had a design contest, and the students competed for the design. And the design is now on t-shirts and hoodies, and they have bracelets and magnets as well. So if you sport any of these items, it means that you not only say no to bullying, but you also pledge not to be a bystander. You're not going to stand up for people. Health and wellness. Just gotta get over here. Yes, she is. Megan is our library media specialist and also on the health and wellness committee, so she's here to tell you a little bit about the family food and fitness fair.
And I left each of you a flyer. The Health and Wellness Committee, we're in our second year, and we've tried a number of things for our students, focusing mainly on food and fitness. This year we decided we wanted to try an event. Last year Soleil did an event here, and we thought that was wonderful. So next Tuesday, a week from today, from 6:30 to 8:30, we are hosting an event. We're calling it the Family Food and Fitness Fair, up to the 4th degree. And our plan is the cafeteria is going to have food tastings, healthy food tastings between our wonderful cafeteria staff and some local businesses, and our students. Our 6th grade students for 2 years have been studying healthy foods. They've been creating these awesome posters. I put up a handful today. Those will be all over the cafeteria and the outside walls next Tuesday for the event, talking about healthy foods, why we should be eating them. Those same students are going to be bringing some foods. They've been invited to participate in that aspect. So there's going to be food tastings. We're going to offer 3 fitness classes to our families that come. One of our Spanish teachers is going to be doing Zumba. We have aerobics and also swing dancing, thanks to a parent. And then we also have a panel of 6 local specialists or experts. They're going to be talking about their role and our students' food and fitness, health and wellness. And we're going to offer a Q&A after they each get to speak for a little bit so that our families can come and ask some questions and hopefully learn about how to be more healthy. And we hope many of you come. We're not sure what kind of crowd, since this is our first, but we do have some local businesses. I think a former board member has done our logo, and I thought I saw him here. Greg, are you here? Okay, donated logo, wonderful logo, and we're really excited, and we hope to have a good turnout and maybe do it again in the future. So, thank you.
Last is B11, Mr. Franklin, to talk about this.
Extremely proud to discuss a program we've implemented here at Hamburg Middle School, and this is the B11 program. This officially began after the February break. This is the expectation that every single person here at Hamburg Middle, on a scale of 1 to 10, will be an 11. What does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to be model citizens, better students, and better people. That's in the school, that's outside of the school, and it's within the school community. Now, how do we go about doing that, and it's not just talk? For example, if you walk along the halls, you'll see posters. Another exciting thing that we're having are competitions amongst our classes. This is to build character, this is to build integrity, and we are extremely excited that we're not just talking about it, but we're actually doing it. And if you see on the tables in front of you a small little sample of our water bottles, all right? And it's one of those things here that if we continuously discuss it and show it and act upon it, things begin to change. And this is part of our positive reinforcement campaign. It's easy for a student to identify what a 11 is, and it's easy for anyone to identify that on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe I'm a 6 to having a hard day, maybe I'm a 5. We don't accept that. Right? Every single day, our effort, how we treat others, how we treat ourselves, that's going to be an 11, and we're going to model that. And we're not only with staff and students model that, but everyone here. And like I said, this is something that we're in full swing. We're looking forward to everything that's going to come about this. And the students are excited, we're excited here, and I appreciate you giving us your time today to talk a little bit about some of the things we've done here at Hamburg Middle School as part of our campaign, the Science Olympiad, and how important it really is to have this positive reinforcement, because so many good things are being done. It should not be overlooked. So thank you very much.
Okay. We have some policies that we reviewed in the past that we will be voting on to approve. Can you go ahead and vote these all together?
Well,
want to
you have,
discuss some of them first?
I don't think there is a need to discuss, but D1 is the policy that we'll be voting on. And when you look at the other policies, those are first reads. So D2 through D5 are first reads, and we'll act on those in the next board meeting. So the only one you're voting on is D1 on the energy conservation policy.
And this is the working with BOCES.
Correct.
We've heard about this the last. You had a chance to ask questions and read about it. Can I have a motion that approval be given to policy number 5680, energy conservation in the school district? A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, the remaining policies here are policies that came out of the Human Resources Office. Again, they're up for first read. We have it in your packet on Friday. If you have any questions or concerns regarding any one of these policies, please contact myself or Rick Jetter. We'll answer any questions. If there are any modifications you'd like to see, we can put those on the table for the board to consider at the next regular board meeting.
Okay. These are all policies addressing technology.
Yes. Yes, they are. All technology. And again, these are also reviewed with the district technology committee, as I stated in the email. They've been shared, revised, and passed on to the board as recommended from the technology committee.
Okay, before we go on further, our next step is to involve the public, and we have.
No.
Nope. Oh, budget discussion. Nope, never mind. Budget discussion. I almost jumped over that anyway.
Yes.
I want to really shorten this meeting,
John, remote working? Okay, this evening's presentation for the budget, we're looking at doing things a little bit different to start with, and that's, we thought it would be helpful to go through a question and answer phase, because there have been questions that have arisen through conversations with other folks, through conversations with administrators and teachers, and part of what we wanted to do was put some of this information up for review so that you can see where the district is headed, and perhaps what some of the restrictions are on the district when we look at things we can or cannot do. We'll also look at the budget gap, look at the draft 1 reductions just in summary form, and look at what our state aid and tax levy limit has brought us and where our budget gap currently exists. Barb will be reviewing those specific numbers with you. Then I'll be reviewing some budget 2 draft reductions and look at where we potentially may have to go depending on all of the outstanding issues and items we have going on through negotiations and other areas. So first, to start looking at questions and answers. The district does have some property that isn't in the form of a school building. We own property out in Boston Valley. We own some property out in Pleasant Avenue. We are in the process of having those properties assessed, and we will consider selling that land and go through the process of doing that. I don't believe we can have that in time for this year, but we can also have a special vote at some point, and the expectation that is if we do sell that, that's a one-time revenue we can bring into the district to offset some one-time expenditures that are there. So the process is approval through the voters on that. Another question that's come up is the allowance of the district to have sponsors or to allow advertisements to raise funding. This is prohibited through the Regents regulations. We are not allowed to advertise for gain of other activities or other corporations on school district property. So we are severely limited in the amount of funding we could raise. You may have heard of some instances where districts have looked at putting advertisement on school buses or advertisement on baseball fences, and all of that's prohibited through the Regents rules, so we can't go into that area. On the next slide, we're looking at the reduction of teaching positions and what that means at the elementary level. And again, it varies by building, but on average, and this is a K through 5 average, a low of 0.3 students per classroom on a grade level to a high of 3.0 students per grade level. So you will see, based on the reductions in staff, and that's instituting some new class guidelines of K and 1 up to 22, maximum of 22, and 2 through 5 up to a maximum of 25. That has resulted in reduced staff and therefore some increases in class size, but the class sizes will not go above 25 in 2 through 5 or 22 in grades K through 1. The athletic program is another area that's received some attention, and we asked Greg Whitman to give us 3 different scenarios. One was a reduction of 50, another one of 75, and another one of $100,000, based on what our needs are as a district in terms of our budget gap. We are looking at reductions at the $50,000 level at this point. And tonight we are not prepared to make recommendations to the Board of Education on specific programs, but rather we are investigating a booster club being formed through the Alumni Foundation that will assist in fundraising to offset the $50,000 reduction we're looking at. We have had conversations with a couple of the individuals with the Alumni Foundation, and we're hopefully going to proceed with approval through that organization that will allow us to raise funding. The district's overtime budget, I have to give Kevin Strong significant credit. A lot of credit also goes to an easy winter. But our overtime budget through March 16 through July 1 is just slightly under $6,500. That's an amazing number for a school district, particularly one of our size, to have limited overtime from that perspective. And Kevin Strong and the maintenance department deserve a significant amount of credit in terms of making sure we're ready to operate and conserving on the overtime costs. Casey Nawali presented on the energy education program. That's a savings of $39,000 up through December 31st. We're expecting that to continue through the course of the remainder of the year and hopefully see significant savings over the next several years through our energy education program. Administration reductions. At this time, we're investigating sharing of service for the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. If necessary, again, depending on how the budget goes in terms of further reductions, we will be prepared to look at reductions in assistant principal. You'll see that later on in the presentation. What changes have been made in transportation to reduce cost? Over the past 2 years, we've reduced 2 bus runs. That was 1 run for each year. It's resulted in some very, very tight scheduling in terms of drop-off and pickup times, both at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. It also impacts athletics at this point in terms of having bus pick up student athletes on time to get them to their contests. We are reviewing costs with Fisher Bus in particular, and we're looking at what we can do to eliminate some runs or consolidate some runs to help us save some money. We've investigated afternoon trips, the 4 o'clock and 5:30 trips, as well as looking at pre-K transportation as well. Part of what we're looking at in terms of this year's budget is the idea of perhaps exceeding the tax cap. I know we haven't had any discussion on that at this point, but one question that does come up, if you do exceed the tax levy limit, is a vote of 60% of the voters has to be approve the budget. In that case, if you go over the levy limit. As you can see, over the past 11 years, we've averaged a 68% voter approval. Last year, however, for this year's budget, our passing rate was 58%. So